What to me was absolutely essential was to try to remove bias. Is a very dangerous thing. Bias meaning you see something that's maybe statistically not very significant, but you start then to make it bigger. For the Higgs discovery, what I think was really important is to set up a good process. Process meaning making sure that you had actually different groups independently working on the same thing to make sure that what you were doing is correct. That I think was enormously important. And I think that is something that as a leader, you can actually have a big impact on. The other thing is organizationally to have a structure in place which actually makes sure that you can support people to do what they need to do without interfering. I mean, you can imagine if you want to have 500 people work coherently, you cannot have them in one room and try to talk all at the same time. So you have to split this up. You have to organize it in a way that things are subdivided in such a way that you can make constructive progress for each of the pieces that you want to put together. But then there's some overview structure which makes sure that things work out. And so that structure, to put that in place, that is something that the leadership does.
Kind of like management and leadership. Like leadership is the vision and we go for that way, everyone goes for that way. And then management is more like managing the teams, creating that structure out there, having the team sets. There's always small problems there. Okay.
Yeah, and then, well, I think we had to, for example, what to me was absolutely essential was to try to remove bias. Is a very dangerous thing. Bias meaning, oh, you see something that's maybe statistically not very significant, but you start then to make it bigger. So one of the things that we did, and that's also, again, something that I do take credit for that. I was very adamant that we had to make the analysis blind so that the researchers were working on the analysis without knowing what the result was. So in principle, you develop an analysis and each step you could check, oh, how does it look like now? And then, oh, I changed this. How does it look like now? So you could basically, and then suddenly you tune yourself into a result that actually is not really true because you can create statistic, you can create a fluctuation that is very large, very significant by just kind of messing around with your setup. And so we blinded the analysis and convincing everybody to do that. That is, I think, leadership because you had to get everybody on board to do this. I think we used some really nice kind of way to get the community involved in this and convince them that that was the right thing to do. And eventually, well, we got that done. And I think for us, it resulted actually in this amazing moment on June 15th, that date nobody knows except for people from CMS, because on June 15th, we allowed, actually on June 14th, in the night before, we allowed very few people, a handful of people, to look at the result of the analysis. And on June 15th, it was for the first time presented to the entire collaboration. So we unblinded the analysis. That was the moment when everybody knew, okay, we have it. Because that was the moment then we saw the result, and then we had to keep it secret until July 4th, where the discovery was announced. So this blinding was just, I think, was important leadership in making this analysis actually, or this discovery, something that we were completely sure about, we were completely comfortable with, because we had not looked at the result and we had tuned everything on the basis of, well, whatever else you can actually calibrate your detector and your analysis with. Now, in this process, now coming really to your question, you said, well, are there issues? Well, of course. Let me make a maybe crazy example. Let's assume you have the church and everybody is supposed to behave like Jesus Christ, I don't know, or whoever the church is following us. Of course they're not. I mean, we're human beings, right? And in an experiment, of course, while we all want to do the right thing and we want to do the right science and want to be good people, well, some people, they're not good, or let's say they act badly. I'm not saying the people are bad, but they act badly and they have kind of other motivations. And then, of course, you can get into a conflict. Maybe some people want to work on the same analysis, and there is basically, we have already 2 or 3 analyses, so there's no point in that they also do it. Other people don't want to work on any analysis. Then sometimes some people, they work on opposing teams and they don't like each other. All of these type of things that happen in real life in any place in the world, of course, happen to us too. I have counted, until our Higgs discovery, the real one, I've counted 5 times that people thought that they had the Higgs discovered, and we had to basically make sure internally to contain the situation. So these, of course, are things that, I mean, this happened in CMS. I know for a fact that also these type of situations happen in Atlas, the other experiment. But of course, you have to be careful about this. Hopefully the leaders of these efforts, they're basically reasonable, and you just kind of try to see that you just do the right thing, right? In real life, everybody has conflicts and you have to find the solutions to it.